Welcome to another lesson of the Focus on Agility CMS course. I'm Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, get a hold of me right there, Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. Today, my guest presenter is Joshua Isaac. He's a solution architect at Agility CMS, and he's going to show us how to work with component-driven pages inside of Agility, both from the content modeling perspective, setting up that architecture, but also we're going to get into the coding part of it, and you're going to see the results and all of that. So it's going to be really cool. But before we do that, I'm going to get Joshua here, and we'll just have a little chat with him. Hey, Joshua,
Hey,
welcome.
Marcella.
I'm glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining. Real quick, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into technology? You're a developer as well. So how did you
Yep.
get into all that?
I went to college for web design and interactive media, where I learned about web design, web development, app development, and I spent 3 years there. After I graduated college, I got a job at a local marketing agency where I was building WordPress themes and Shopify themes. And then from there, I went to a tech conference downtown where I saw Agility had a booth set up. So I introduced myself and I became friends with a former employee that used to work here. And we kept in close contact, and an opportunity had come up and he reached out to me. And I've kind of just been here ever since.
What attracted you to technology, to development? I used to do WordPress development
Mhm.
many eons ago.
Yeah.
But what attracted you to development? What is it that you like about it?
I've always been interested in computers and fiddling around with computers and stuff like that. And then I kind of just got into, before I went to college, I was playing around with HTML a little bit, and I kind of really got interested in that. So then from there, I decided to jump right into it.
I see. Do you prefer front end or back end?
I'm more front end.
Front end.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite framework?
Right now, I'm really loving Next.js.
Okay, very cool. So I like to close my interviews with something personal to learn about
Yep.
you a little bit more. Everybody knows I'm a huge movie fan, so I was wondering, do you have a favorite movie, TV show?
Yeah. For movies, I'm gonna have to go with Ghost in the Shell, but the original one
Oh,
created in 1995.
okay, very cool. And do you have a TV show too, or?
TV shows, I'm kind of scattered all over the place. I don't really have a, a favorite TV show.
Definitely. Cool. Actually, we just watched last night Drive My Car. Very good movie, but
Oh.
very long. So, highly recommend it. But man, we had to break it up into two sessions. Anyway, people didn't tune in here to talk about movies, although that would be a cool thing to do. But having said that, we're going to jump in and get you going on the presentation. Again, for those of you watching live, you've got a chat. Put in questions there for Joshua. Joshua, it's all yours.
Thanks, Marcelo. Yeah, so let's jump right into it. So there are three main ingredients when creating component-driven pages in Agility. You have your sitemaps, your page templates, as well as your page modules. And we're going to dive into each one of these ingredients a bit further. So the first one we have up is sitemaps. And sitemaps in Agility basically allow editors to manage multiple content destinations within a single instance or project. And a content destination can be considered as like a website, a mobile app, or even digital signage, where editors can manage the pages and components that make up the front end of their digital solution. Each sitemap can be composed with completely different pages, but utilize the same underlying architecture, such as page templates, page modules, and content in general. At a glance, you can see your sitemaps and which pages exist in those sitemaps, and you can tell where each page is and how they relate to other pages around them. In the picture I have here, you can see I have two sitemaps created, one for my website and one for digital signage. And in my website sitemap, I have a home page, a services page, about page, a blog, and a contact page. This shows the hierarchy of all of the pages as they will appear on the front end of your digital solution. Sitemaps often get associated with deployments, and each sitemap usually has one or more deployment. In this case, for my website sitemap, I have two deployments configured, one for my production environment and one for my preview environment. The next ingredient is page templates, and page templates represent a page's layout. This enables a variety of different layouts where editors can add page modules to one or more content zones. Now, a content zone is an area where editors can enter little pieces of content, and these pieces of content are called page modules. You can add, remove, or rearrange page modules within any one of these zones to structure out the layout of your page. When an editor creates a new page in Agility, they'll select from a list of predefined templates that the developer have created for them. And as a developer, you get to decide how these templates are rendered into HTML. Here I have an example of two templates. I have a main template with a main content zone, as well as a two-column template with a main content zone and a sidebar content zone. This means that editors can drag and drop page modules within either one of these zones. The last ingredient we have are page modules, and you can think of page modules as like Lego blocks. Page modules are functional UI components that editors can use to compose their pages and compose what type of content is on each page and in what order that they should appear in. An editor should be able to add a page module to a page, and it should render some sort of UI on the front end based on the content or the fields within that module.
And real quick, Joshua, on
Yeah,
that, for those of you that want to see what that experience is from the editor perspective, we have actually a lesson which we just did that shows what the experience from the editor perspective is on sitemaps, page modules, and templates as well. So just wanted to remind people of that.
yeah, awesome. On the picture here, you can see I have a news page that is published, and I have two content zones in my news page. So I have a news content zone that has a hero module, a rich text area module, a YouTube video module, as well as a gallery module. And then I also have a sidebar content zone that has a post listing module. Now, you can create any type of page module you want, really. Anything from a simple structured piece of text to a more complex item, or even have any type of functionality you want, really, that integrates with other platforms and systems, such as like a form provider or a digital asset manager. As a developer, you get to decide what page modules are available in the CMS and what fields they consist of. Each module that's defined in Agility should have a corresponding code file that lives within your website or application. If modules are not defined or modules aren't added to a page, then there won't be anything to output to the front end of your pages. Here you can see I have a sample carousel module, and it has a number of slides fields, a rotation speed field, and a field for the slides themselves. Now we're going to jump into the actual content manager, and I'll show you how to create page templates and page modules, and then we'll dive into some code.
I'll have a question before we jump into that on
Yeah, for
page
sure.
modules, because page modules have a rendering, right? Like you said, the
Yep,
developer creates the rendering of that page module.
correct.
Now, could, for example, here you have rotations, or you have, let's just pick a photo gallery page module that people can choose, right?
Yep.
Can you have can you associate multiple rendering types? And what I mean by that is, for example, render it this way on a mobile app and render it this way on a website. So because you may have for that module, it may be rendered differently in different
Mhm.
channels, right?
Yeah, for sure. So there are two ways you can kind of go about that. You can either add fields to the module itself to kind of render out the module in a specific way, or you can just handle that all on the code side of things.
Got it. Okay, but you can have depending on the channel, you can have different renderings.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty.
Awesome. So here you can see I'm in the Agility Content Manager, and we're going to start by heading into the model section here, and we're going to jump into the page templates section. And you can see here, I don't have any page templates created, but we can go ahead and add one by clicking on this plus icon here. And this is going to open up a flyout and allow me to create a new page template. So I'm going to give this the name of main template. And I'm going to add a content zone here, and I'm going to name it main content zone. I'm going to go ahead and click save. and I'm going to save the page template. Now you can see I have a main template in my templates list. Next, we're going to want to jump in the page modules section here. And you can see I already have a few page modules configured, but we're going to go ahead and create a new one. So here, I'm going to name this text block with image. And I usually like to give a description to my page modules just to help the editor understand when and where this page module should be added. So I'm going to say displays a text block with image. I'm going to go ahead and save this. You can see my module was created successfully. And now we can start building out this module by adding some fields. So the first field I'm going to add is a tagline. And this is going to be a text field. The next field I'm going to add is a title. And you can see when I type in title, it automatically defaults to the text field for me, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. The next field I'm going to add is an image. And the field type I want to use for this is the image fields. Next up, we're going to have an image position field. And for this, we're going to choose the drop-down list. And we're going to configure some choices here. I'm going to say the first choice is going to have the text of right with the value of right. And the second choice is left with the value of left. And I'm going to default to the right side for now. The next field I'm going to add is a primary button. And this is going to be the URL field type. And the last field I'm going to add is a content field. And for this, I'm going to choose the multi-line text fields. So once you have all your fields added to your module, you can go ahead and click Save, and this will save your module. On the right-hand side, you can see that there are currently no pages using this module, but we can go ahead and change that by jumping into the Pages section here on the left-hand side. On the left here, you can see I have my website sitemap, and there are currently no pages in my sitemap, but I can click on this Add Page button, and it'll open up a new flyout for me to create a new page. Now it's going to give me some options here, and the first option is to select a page template from my list of predefined templates. And you can see here I have the main template that I had just created. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one. And I'm also going to give this a title. I'm going to give this the title of Home for now. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save. You can now see I have a home page in my sitemap. And my page has been configured here with my main content zone. And there are currently